right, and there you have it. Sports update, Detroit Sports Talk. We are in the building. I'm Raaj. We got Adrian and Reid in the building. Fellas, what's up?
What's going on? Good to be here.
Yo.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and dive right into this thing. Obviously, the big news today is the MLB lockout. Well, a quick update with the MLB. We did see Derek Jeter steps down as the CEO of the Miami Marlins. He's no longer a shareholder as well. So just wanted to put that out there. But the big news, obviously, the MLB lockout. The players, the owners couldn't agree on the new CBA today. The season opening day is going to get pushed back now. We already seen spring training get pushed back. Overall, this is a bad look for baseball. I don't like it. I was looking forward to seeing the Tigers this season. I think this was going to be a very intriguing season. I like AJ Hinch a lot. The new shortstop Baez, Torkelson, Riley Green, Casey Mize. They got a bunch of young players that a lot of people are excited to see, and now they're taking this away from us because the greedy owners just can't. Them and the players just can't see eye to eye. So I think it's bad for baseball. Adrian, special guest today. We'll go ahead and let you pop it off. Where you at with this whole MLB lockout?
Look, man, I'm at the point where baseball is totally alienate themselves from the fan base that they have already. The older people really love baseball, but for the younger generation, this has continued to be a scar and making the game look really bad. This will be maybe going on a third year that there will be no opening day. Last year with COVID, keeping the fans out in 2020 where they botched it when they had the chance to show center stage in baseball. It continues to mess it up. And I'm going to blame most of this on the owners. They're nothing but greedy. And here's the thing that people aren't realizing. This is the 4 years in a row, the revenue has gone up in Major League Baseball, which is crazy to me because it seems that the attendance is going down. And then we have a 4-year history of the players' salaries going down. And we can sit here and talk about how the players are paid a lot, but that's only a 5 to 10% of the league. A lot of these guys aren't making as much money as you do, and the players are trying to just get what's fair to them, such as the service time, where clubs can manipulate that. And you also got the how long they can call the players up. The season's long, man. Baseball is totally botching this, and the owners are just gonna get greedy. And honestly, if I was the players and if you could do this, I would say just sit out the whole season because you need to make these owners suffer, but we're really not in a predicament to where they can do that right now. But like I said, it's just a really bad look for baseball right now in a sport that seems like it can be dying. So,
Well said, Reid. Where you at with it?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I was talking about this over the weekend with my brother-in-law, and I was saying that I think that they should have a shortened season anyway. I think 162 games is way too long of a season anyway. So push it back to opening day at either mid-May or almost even the end of May. That make it 142 games. You miss out on 20 games, shorten the season. That might bring a little bit of life back into it. But other than that, yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. It's just like I don't know. The games are too long. I mean, they're fun to go to in person, but the games are too long. You're really kind of not seeing all the superstars like Mike Trout staying in LA because he's getting paid $500 million. He's getting paid 500 mil. I mean, you're getting all these guys that are getting paid such large amounts, but you're not getting any of the smaller name guys that are really getting paid. So I think the players want to play, but I also think they want to kind of stick it to the owners, and that's why they're not really getting anything done. But I agree. Yeah, I don't know where the revenue is coming from because if you look at the Tigers, I mean, they've been pretty bad as of late. I mean, last season they had hope, but like nobody's going to those games. Nobody's showing up. They only need to fill 30,000 seats, and they're not even filling 5,000 for the most part. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's tough, and I think they're eventually going to get a deal done just to get a season to go, but I don't think it's going to be what anybody wants.
Yeah, I mean, it can have been a blessing in disguise. Everybody's always talking about the too long season, 162 games. People always wanted to see a shaved down season, and we might see that. They already implemented certain things to shorten some of these games. Double header, 7 innings, putting the guy on second in extra innings, but that hasn't shaved the actual amount of games itself. And this is definitely going to be an exciting season for the Tigers. But I mean, on the plus side of things, they might actually have an opening day, and it's going to be warm out. Opening day is always freezing. It was snowing last year, so
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we might actually have a warm opening day this year. So that is something to look forward to. I'm here for that.
I think
I'm
attendance would be huge if it was a warm opening day. Sorry,
Yeah.
Adrian.
No, you're good. I agree. I agree that if I don't mind shortening the season, I say shorten to 125 games. 162 is so long. So start in mid-May because it'll be warmer here in Ohio and Illinois, Wisconsin. Although the Brewers do play in a dome, but that being said, the only issue I have is the players just need to get what's theirs. Like they deserve to be treated fairly, and the owners are just, like I said, greedy. This might be the worst group of owners in professional sports right now because who doesn't want to play? You own a baseball team and do not want to play. And then the last thing I want to add about this is I don't mind that baseball doesn't have a salary cap, but what I do hate is the fact that these lower level teams such as Miami or Pittsburgh or Kansas City, they're spending 30-40 million dollars for total payroll. Miguel Cabrera makes more than probably 5 or 6 of these MLB franchises, so they need to have a floor to where you have to spend amount because these teams are just tanking on purpose, and it's not giving these any of these fan bases hope. And just it's sad, man. Like let's be competitive. That's what you buy a team for, not to just have it as a toy, but treat it like you would care about any other business.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that they can't see eye to eye and the owners can't see that, like, it's just mind blowing to me. It's crazy. Like, just there's obvious glaring holes and glaring things that need to be changed in baseball that are helping make the sport better. And the fact that the owners don't see that and they're so far apart, so far away on this thing, like even with the minor leagues as well, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. But hopefully they can get something worked out. And like I said, this potentially could be a blessing in disguise because we're going to see a shorter season, warm opening day. So yeah, so we'll see. We'll see if
They
they can
actually attend this year.
exactly. So
I catch a couple games myself.
yeah, absolutely. It's going to be condensed now. It's going to be condensed. So you gotta squeeze them in there. Got to squeeze them in there.
Absolutely.
All right. Moving on here to see what we got in the building. Shout out BA in the building. BA, what's up? All right, we sent your boy Matthew Stafford. Obviously, just won the Super Bowl. Won 3-4 playoff games. So right now, I want to ask you guys, where do you guys currently have Matthew Stafford ranked? I'll go ahead with my rankings first. I currently have Matthew Stafford as the 4th best quarterback in the NFL. I got Patrick Mahomes 1. I got Aaron Rodgers 2. This is probably going to be an unpopular opinion here. I got Russell Wilson over Matthew Stafford at 3. And I got Stafford at 4, and I got Josh Allen at 5. I put Russell Wilson at 3 because Russell Wilson has more playoff wins than Matthew Stafford. He has more division titles. He's been to more Super Bowls than Matthew Stafford. And he's just more accomplished. And he's beating him head to head more time. So that's why I put Russell Wilson over Stafford. I know a lot of people probably not going to like that. It's probably more of a recency bias with Stafford because obviously he just won the Super Bowl. But in totality, I think me personally, I'm putting Russ over Stafford. Not by much. I'm not saying Russ is miles way better than Matt Stafford. I got him just a slight hair over him. Just the fact, like I said, the playoff wins, division titles, and banning more Super Bowls and beating them head to head. So that's my 5 right there. I got Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson 3, Matthew Stafford 4, Josh Allen 5. Reid, I'll come at you. Where do you currently have Matthew Stafford ranked?
Yeah, actually, I'm a big fan of his, and I actually think that your ranking was pretty good. I actually had him a little bit higher. Lower. I had him at 5. But I think, honestly, with the way that they played, I think Josh Allen actually took a step above Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion, this year. Patrick Mahomes was a little lackluster in the beginning of the season. He did come out, but he made a lot of bad errors this year with his passing, and I don't know what was going on with Kansas City in that beginning. But I had Josh Allen, and then I had Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. At the time, it was Tom Brady, but he's since retired, so not Tom Brady anymore. I'm fine with the Russ thing. I think he's just in a really bad situation in Seattle. They have a terrible, terrible situation with draft picks. They don't have any draft picks. Pete Carroll's seems like he's on his way out. Russ seems like he's on his way out. I think if you put Russ somewhere, like Miami, swap him for Tua, I think that he would, do really well in Miami. I think he would do really well in a lot of places. So I would say Stafford's, I would put him at 5 behind him. Those would be mine. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Russ, and then Stafford.
You would put Josh Allen over him with no ring?
Yeah, even with no, if you're talking about right now, talent wise, who I would rather have, would put Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen just is a better quarterback all around than Stafford. He has the arm talent of Stafford. He has the mobility of Russ, and he has the durability. I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL as of last season.
Okay. Hey, look, I like both y'all lists. So mine's might be a little more controversial just because I'm trying to keep my recency bias out of it. You know, my pops is a real big Rams fan, so I've been following Stafford his whole career. But with that being said, I'm gonna go agree with you guys. Patrick Mahomes is still number one. He's been to 4 AFC Championship games. I know he's came up in the clutch a little bit, but they had a bad game against Cincinnati. 2, I'm gonna have Russell Wilson. 3, I'm gonna have Josh Allen. I'm really high on Josh Allen. I think he is going to be a superstar. 4, I'm gonna put Aaron Rodgers. Now I know people have been hard on him and hating on him. He hasn't performed well in the playoffs the last couple of years, but he still has a Super Bowl and he still carries his team. 5, I'll put him on honorable. So I'll save that pick later. But I'll put Stafford at 5 right now. And then the honorable mention, no, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. I forgot about Russell Wilson. Let me put Stafford at 6. I'm gonna put Russell Wilson at 5 and put Stafford at 6. And then the honorable mention will be Deshaun Watson. He would be on this list for sure if we had his legal situation turned out. But I'm gonna put Stafford at 6. Before the season, I had him at about 9 or 10, but he's definitely elevated himself this season.
Yeah, that's interesting. Both of you guys got Josh Allen over him. See, that was the reason why I didn't put Josh Allen over Stafford, which is due to the fact that Stafford just won that Super Bowl. That's why I had Stafford at 4 and Josh Allen right behind him. Now, if Josh Allen had a ring, I easily would put him over Stafford. But I mean, Stafford got it done. He got over the hump, and the fact that.
But you do have to say, Josh Allen, he went to 2 AFC Championship games back to back against Patrick Mahomes, and arguably got robbed last year with the overtime rule. So he's already won more playoff games than Stafford has. Stafford was put in a great situation with Los Angeles. Josh Allen's is only yet to come. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you have to look at the back-to-back AFC Championship games, which, again, I think he should have won this last one, but overtime. We all know how that went.
Yeah. So I guess I say one thing we all can agree on. None of us think Stafford's top 3 right now.
No. If he gets a Super Bowl next year, then if they go back to back, then maybe it's a conversation. But I see them going for one more run next year because their team is loaded to kind of repeat. So we'll see what happens.
They got to come back. A lot of cap problems. It's the only issue they got to worry about. The cap room.
Yeah, and
I want to ask you guys really quickly though before we move on. What about how close are you guys to ranking Joe Burrow in the top 5 to 7?
He's top 10. I'm going to give you guys a really controversial take. I actually think Justin Herbert is the best young quarterback right now in the league. That's my guy right there. So I take him over Joe Burrow, but he just got to get into the playoffs first. People to see him in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking Herbert over Burrow right now. Don't get me wrong, Burrow's ascending, but there's still a lot of guys I wouldn't put him in. I'm still not putting him ahead of Lamar. I'm still not putting him ahead Justin Herbert. There's still a lot of guys I wouldn't put him in front. Would you put him in front of Dak?
Yes.
Yes, I would. I agree with Reid. Okay. Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
I like Herbert too. I think the problem with Herbert, and last thing I'll say is that their defense is just so bad that that's the one reason they couldn't get over the hump. It's that team's defense is so bad. The Bengals defense really turned out this year. They need to draft they need like Jordan Davis out of Georgia to plug up the run. That was the Chargers' biggest thing. I think they allowed the most rushing yards again. So after that happens, I think Herbert's gonna take a big lead.
Yeah, they went to bed. They should have been in the playoffs this year. They went to bed a couple games. They had a bad loss at the Texans. They lost. It was a couple games they should have won, but nevertheless, the future's bright for the Chargers and Justin Herbert. Absolutely. All right, let's get to some of the feedback here. Hold up the phone. Okay, there we go. Shout out Brendan in the building. What's good, Brendan? Brendan said, "What up, y'all?"
So Brendan.
Shout out Con in the building. Con says it's all about the bread. Owners are in it to make money. Yeah, but the revenue is constantly going up though. It's like share some of the, spread it around. Share some of the bread, some of the funding. Like you can't be too greedy. It's minor league guys barely getting paid anything, and a lot of these guys making the bare minimum. Like you hear about a lot of guys making $300-400 million, but that's not all of baseball. That's only a small percentage. So
it's like the top 50, if that.
Yeah,
the top 25.
What's the
Yeah,
minimum? What's the minimum? Y'all know? Is it like a million, like 1-2 or something? I look that
I
up.
think it's around there. Yeah, I think it's 1-2 or 1-5 something maybe.
Yeah, these owners' stubbornness. That's what's hurting the game. That's what's slowing the game down. They don't want to progress. So, all right, let's see. Brendan in the building. Brendan says Mahomes and Stafford still ahead of Allen until he proves himself more. So I agree with Brendan on that as well. That's why I wouldn't put Josh Allen over Stafford. Overall, I think Josh Allen has more of an upside right now. He's younger, of course, but after what Stafford got over the hump, he got it done, and Josh Allen hasn't been able to get over the hump just yet. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm not saying he's a great player, but the fact that Stafford has that ring and Allen doesn't, I got to put Stafford over him. I agree with you on that, Brendan. All right, shout out Khan. Khan says Josh Allen is Jim Kelly. He can get there and just can't win.
Jim Kelly went to 4 of them and didn't win.
That's tough.
Josh Allen hasn't even made it to the big dance. Jim Kelly made it to 4 of them things and still couldn't do it.
The greatest to never get it done.
Yeah.
All right, last one here. Khan says, or no, we got 2 more here. My bad. Brendan says if Burrow has an O-line, it might be a different story. Talking about where as
The
far
whole
as
line was playing great the first half of the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They just fell apart in the second half. Aaron Donald came alive.
Great. Yeah, that's you can't stop that, man.
Freak.
But yeah, going in free agency in the draft, Cincinnati definitely O-line definitely has to be one of their biggest needs for sure. All right, last one here. Khan says should have, would have, could have. None of those guys are better than Joey B right now. Proof in the pudding.
You got to see it again. It's the toughest part is proving yourself again. Now people seeing you on film, they see what you can do. Great quarterbacks make adjustments and get better. So we'll see. We'll see if they have a Super Bowl hangover coming in the next season.
You got to remember too, the AFC East isn't a joke. I mean, I'm not the biggest Baltimore fan, but they had like 20 people out with injuries. Wait until they get healthy. That's not going to be a cakewalk out of that division.
Yeah, a healthy Lamar Jackson and J.K. Dobbins definitely is going to be dangerous next year for sure.
And I know
They had nobody on defense.
Yeah, I bang on Baker a lot because I'm not the biggest Baker fan, but the Browns have a really good roster. They have some talent.
Mm-hmm.
My Steelers, we need to figure out what we're gonna do at quarterback, but we still got a really good defense with T.J. Watt. So there's not no guarantee that you guys are gonna go back to the Super Bowl. I mean, as we all know, injuries play a huge factor, and just a little bit of luck actually plays a big factor into winning the Super Bowl and making one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah. I think the AFC North and the NFC West are 2 toughest divisions in football, in my opinion. All right. Moving on here. Speaking of football, let's get a little bit of Lions draft in here. I'll go with my first 3 picks. This is who I want the Lions to take at 2, 32, and 34. At 2, I got the Lions taking Kyle Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame. I think if you take Kyle Hamilton, you put him next to Tracy Walker. You already got Owarie had 6 picks last year. You drafted Melifonwu out of Syracuse, a bigger corner, with Jeff Okudah, and then you add Kyle Hamilton in that mix. You really solidify your secondary. That'd be a nice looking secondary going into the next season if everybody can stay healthy. So I like Kyle Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame at 2. I like David Bell, the wide receiver from Purdue at 32, 6'2", 205. He can definitely turn into that number 1 receiver. Obviously, St. Brown will be our number 2, more of the shifty, quicker, end-around guy. David Bell could turn into the number 1. I like Khalif Raymond in the slot, him and Cephas. So I like David Bell at 32. And 34 with that second pick in the second round, I like Desmond Ridder. Desmond Ridder, the quarterback from Cincinnati. I do think the Lions should take a quarterback this year, not in the first round. I like Desmond Ridder, four-year guy, senior, the most veteran guy of this bunch. He has a high football IQ. He's going to come in. He can stay. He can sit. He doesn't have to come in and play right away. He can sit behind golf for a year, and then going into his second year, you're going to have 2 more first-round picks to put around him, and he can hit the ground running in year 2. So at pick number 2, I like Kyle Hamilton, the safety. 32, I like David Bell, the receiver from Purdue. And 34, I like the quarterback, Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati. That's where I'm at with it. Adrian, I'll let you go next. Who you got the Lions taking in your mock?
At 2, we got Kayvon Thibodeau, my man out of Oregon. The upside for him is huge. I know a lot of people here are taking Aiden Hutchinson. I'm a Michigan fan, obviously, but I think the upside for Kayvon is a lot higher. He's a little more athletic. He's gonna grow up. The Lions can take a risk and develop him. People were saying he has no motor. That's not true. He was playing hurt a lot of the season. When he was playing, that man was a stud. Add him to that defensive line. Getting a quarterback. I hope the Lions can cut Trey Flowers because that was a bad acquisition. It hasn't done anything for him. I yeah, I know, feeling it. And at 32. I'm going cornerback. I know they got Melo Famu last year. I think he's gonna develop nicely. Jeff Okuda just I haven't seen it yet. Maybe they can keep him and he can turn into a good slot corner, but it's just not there. I'm going into his third year. Roger McCreary out of Auburn. Real big. Played well against Georgia. Played really well against Bama, against Arkansas, against a Jermaine Burton, against a Treylon Burks. Against John Mechie, Jamison Williams. He's not super fast, but I would call him more so quick. And I've seen he's got good footwork, hand placement's great. A bigger size corner. I would like that a lot for the Lions. And at 34, Rod, you had him. I went wide receiver David Bell out of Purdue. This man, 3 games against Ohio State, Michigan State, and Iowa. This man balled out, and Purdue won 2 out of those 3 games. And there was 2 games where he had over 200 yards, and he was catching everything. He's probably gonna run in the low 4.5s, high 4.4s. Put him in the slot. You put St. Brown put him in the out, and then put St. Brown in the slot. You got a nice pairing. Maybe you add another wide receiver late in the draft, or maybe free agency. Shirt up. Get Jared Goff some weapons so he can throw the ball too. And that's what I like. So these are 3 starters, plug and play right away, and that's what the Lions need. Just some infusion of talent.
Who was the corner you said at 32?
Roger McCreary, corner out of Auburn.
Okay. All right. Reid.
Yeah, so for me, I'm going to agree with Adrian. I think Thibodeau is a far and away more athletic player than Hutchinson. The thing I don't like about Hutchinson is he hasn't really proven himself. Not saying Thibodeau has, but he was more consistent across the board throughout his whole college career than Hutchinson was. Hutchinson had the solid year last year, but other than that, he hasn't really done a whole lot. And if you look at a guy like Will Anderson out of Alabama, he had recorded more sacks and recorded more tackles for loss. So, I mean, Hutchinson, he didn't show up really against Georgia like he was supposed to. Everybody says double team. I watched the game. I didn't really see him get double teamed that often personally, but so I'm going to take Thibodeau at 2. I think he just has a higher athletic ceiling. I do like Hamilton, but just taking, I mean, I still have a bad taste in my mouth from Okuda at 3. So a safety is a little bit different. He is huge. He is 6'4", 210 safety, I think, something like that. Big guy. So I'm taking, I mean, edge rushers is a big thing that you need. Hopefully clear up some cap space and get rid of Flowers, like we were saying. At 32, I have 2 of them, but one I don't think is going to be there. My hope is that Chris Olave out of Ohio State, the wide receiver, would be there at 32. I don't think he's going to be there. There's some wide receiver needy teams like Philly and New England who are picking up or before you. The Jets probably need another guy, so they all have a lot of draft capital. So my 32, I think, is going to be there. I'm going to pick. I spoke about him earlier for the Chargers, but I think he'll drop a little bit as Jordan Davis. You need to stop the run for the Lions, and as well, they picked Unzarike and McNeil last year, and Unzarike hasn't really panned out. So I think you need a big guy, and everybody's seen the pictures of Jordan Davis. He's huge, so he's a Terminator. He's like 6'8", 380 or something. So get him to plug up some run defense holes, and then for the second pick in the second round, I think they're going to actually take Daxton Hill out of Michigan. I think he's a solid defensive back. You can put him at safety. He'd be a little small. So, or if you want to put him at corner and then maybe try and slide Okuda to safety because Okuda's a taller corner. So, I'm sure he could learn how to play that. But yeah, Daxton Hill's versatile. He showed what he can do at Michigan. It would be a solid second round pick, I think. So.
Okay, so I'm the only person mocking the quarterback. You guys are staying away from the quarterbacks this year?
I don't think you're going to see any quarterback in this draft be a starter in the next 3 to 4 years.
Out of all the guys, it's probably going to be about 6-7 guys going in the first 2 rounds. Somebody's going. I think somebody's going to break through.
One of these quarterbacks are going top 10, and which I don't think should happen. But these teams are going to get quarterback needy. Yeah, you like Raj, like you were the only one who took a quarterback. The Lions are just gonna, I think, if they do draft the quarterback, it's gonna be in the maybe third or fourth round. But they need so much help. And I think these first 3 to 4 guys you have to get, and they have to step onto the field and play immediately. They're just desperate for
Mhm.
talent, like me and Reid was talking about. So I just think that's the most important thing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I just don't like the quarterback crop this year. And you can draft one at the end of the first, but I just don't think the Lions would go and pick one next year. And I like the quarterback crop next year way better than what we have this year. I mean, even if you're picking within the top 10 next year, you have the draft capital to where you can move up. Maybe get a guy like CJ Stroud out of Ohio State. I like the way he plays. He's very Patrick Mahomes with the way he plays. If you want Bryce Young, he's a little shorter. But yeah, I think that you need guys that are going to come out and they're going to play right now. You need plug and play guys. You showed that you made it so far with a quarterback last year. Goff is still under contract. Might as well let him play. I don't think any of these guys are really worth dropping a first round pick, even if it's at the end of the first round. I think most of them are gonna either being backups or just won't be in the league in the next couple of years. That being said, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't think all 6 guys. I think it's gonna be 6 guys going in the first 2 rounds. I don't think everybody's gonna fizzle out. There's gonna be some guys that go to a good situation that works. But Pittsburgh could be a good situation if they end up taking somebody. There is some teams that I think it can work out for. But the Lions, they got a lot of draft capital over the next 2 years, and they got to hit on these picks, like you said. They got to
Absolutely.
draft plug and play players. They got to draft guys that are going to hit the ground running. So, but I wouldn't be mad if they took a quarterback this year. Just let them sit in year 2. Let them take over the ranks, and you guys still got more draft capital. So I wouldn't be opposed to them taking a quarterback. It just has to be the right one. Like I said, me personally, I like Desmond Ridder. If he's there in the second round, I'd take him. I'm staying away from Sam Howell. I was big on Kenny Pickett, but after they measured his hands and all this stuff, I'd stay away from it. So maybe Malik
Same
Willis in
hand,
the
same
second
hand
round,
size as Jared
maybe.
Goff.
Would you
Same
say?
hand size as Jared Goff.
Right. So
Joe
If
Burrow had tiny hands. They said
if
that's a problem with
yeah,
Joe Burrow.
if I was,
yeah,
if I was if I was to take a quarterback in this draft, which my whole philosophy on drafting is, if you're not completely sold on the guy, don't do it, because once you do that, you're fully invested. So like for me, the 2 guys I like in this draft, if I were to draft one, would be either Malik Willis, because he fits today's style of play. I know he's a little smaller guy, but we got Russell Wilson, we got Kyler Murray, and then I also like Matt Corral. He's super athletic, he can run. He just had to show the ability to stay healthy. So for me, those 2 guys fit more of the style in today's NFL, and I think they will have the best chance to succeed going to the right franchise. Not the Lions, obviously, but maybe to like New Orleans or Pittsburgh, or
yeah,
somewhere, Green Bay, somewhere like that, just where the organization is a little more stable right now.
To be
yeah,
honest with you, a guy that I would actually like to see, and I'll take him in the third round, and because he'll probably be there, is Carson Strong out of Nevada. If you want to go take a shot on a guy, take a shot on a Carson Strong. He's a big armed guy. He's not as mobile as Josh Allen, but he could be almost like a Josh Allen type where he can move if he needs to, but he's got that giant arm. And if you want to, maybe sit him behind uh, Goff, I almost said Stafford, he's not here anymore, but Goff, then you can do that. But I just don't think your need right now isn't a backup quarterback. Sure, you want competition, but wait until next year when the crop is a lot better. I mean, you're going to have so many better quarterbacks next year as opposed to this year. This year's draft is a depth draft. There's so many guys at positions that you can take that you don't need to worry about. Quarterback, just you have defensive line, offensive line, wide receivers. You have safety, secondaries. You have everything that the Lions need to build on. So I'm taking tools and not taking the diamond. I'm taking the tools.
yeah. I agree with that. But like I said, if they took a quarterback, I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't hate it. If Carson Strong fell to the third round, that's good value. I definitely have no problem with them taking him. I even see the mock draft that had the Lions taking Carson Strong at 32. So if he falls to them in the third round, I'd be all for that. So yeah. So yeah, we'll see. Like I said, a lot of draft capital over the next 2 years, and they got to hit on these picks. Campbell and Dan Campbell, they got to hit on these picks. They got to hit on these picks.
I will say I just don't want them to fall for the Jared Goff, Carson Wentz draft. There's always a guy that comes out and like on pro or on the combine that comes out and looks really good, and then he ends up, coming out and playing really good for only 2-3 years, and then you got to throw him or trade him or do something with him. That always seems to happen with the combine.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll stay tuned. We'll see what's going on. The combine starts this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. So, all right. Shout out to Rob Diddy in the building. Rob says,
"Oh yeah,
the look." He says this looks so much better than StreamYard. All right, we're gonna close it out with we got Michigan and Michigan State. We got the big game tomorrow. Michigan right now currently 15-12, 9-8. MSU currently 19-9, 10-7 in the Big Ten. Very big game right here. Michigan really needs this game. So, Adrian, I started at you with this one. Who do you like in this game, and who do you think could end up being a more dangerous team in the tournament?
It's absolutely without a doubt Michigan State right now. Michigan has just been a not a dumpster fire season, but it's just been a real disappointing season for this team. They've tried to win some games. They tried to give it a go. They came in with the number one recruiting class in the country, and it just hasn't developed as fast as they thought it would. And then you all know the stuff with Juwan Howard slapping the coach, crazy man. But Michigan State, I think, is the better team right now, and if they want to really show how good they are, they need to put Michigan away and just end the season, because I just think this team is not good right now. And if Michigan brings back all the players they have next year, I think they'll be in a better situation right now. But if Tom Izzo is the coach we think he is, and that win against Purdue, you're going to come into Ann Arbor tomorrow and get the W and look forward and trying to make some noise in the tournament. But I just don't think this Michigan State team is that great either. But they're definitely better than Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Michigan man. I think I'm the only. I mean, I'm a Spartans fan when it comes to Michigan stuff. I'm a Florida State guy, but yeah, I don't. I don't know. Both these teams are so bad, man. I mean, they both underperformed so. I mean, even not being a Michigan fan, I said this year that I thought Michigan was going to have a really good team, and they just came out and completely, it was a disappointment. So, I think this really falls in Michigan State's favor because a lot of kids, I believe that college spring break is going on right now. So maybe a lot of kids might not be at this Michigan game because they're not on campus. That being said, it's a big campus. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people, but it probably won't be as crazy as it was before. People are gone. So that plays a little bit into Michigan State's favor. But yeah, both teams have just looked so lackluster. I think this is Michigan State's game to win. Well, I should say it's their game to lose because I think they're going to come out and they're going to have to play hard, play like they did. They barely beat Purdue, and Michigan smoked Purdue last time they played them. So is Juwan back in this game, or is he?
No.
This is the last one. Yeah, so I think that hurts you a lot too, not having Juwan Howard there. So I think it's going to be Michigan State. Michigan's just going to have to come out playing super hard. Dickinson's going to have to play on his head. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, I like Michigan in this game. State thumped them the last time they played. Michigan is at home. They need this game very badly. They're literally on the bubble right now. So this is a game they need. If they want to get in the tournament, this is a game they have to win against State at home. This will definitely look good on the resume. And then they close it out. Michigan is against Iowa and Ohio State, and then MSU after the Michigan game they close it out against Ohio State and Maryland. MSU I would say is in as of right now. And obviously, we still have the Big Ten tournament as well, so guys can still update their resumes as well. But this is a game Michigan has to win at home. State thumped them last time, so I like Michigan in this game. And so yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Michigan loses this game, they, in my opinion, would have to win out and win the Big Ten tournament, or at least get to the final. They have some good wins on their resume, but some of these losses are just bad. And I think the problem with this team is they lack a lot of maturity. Some of the guys who I thought were going to step up and be leaders, such as Hunter Dickinson, hasn't. He's had flashes. Brandon Johns feels like he's been there for 30 years. Diabite, and he needs to grow up. He's already gotten to 2 altercations after games, and that's something that has to be coached in his culture, man. They got to clean this stuff up. Caleb Houston been a little disappointing, but he's coming on. This team is just, they're out of whack. Michigan State's problem, I believe, is the fact that sometimes they don't play inspired and they don't play hard. But I mean, no better reason to get up for a rivalry game than this, because Michigan State felt like Michigan dodged them the first time this game was originally scheduled. So there's going to be a lot of energy from Michigan. They're going to come out play hard in that first half, but they're just gonna run out of gas, and they're just not gonna have enough for Michigan State, who's riding this momentum by beating Purdue. So I think Tom Izzo shows Phil Martelli what it is, and they keep going on till the season comes. And I think Michigan State will probably maybe. I say they're gonna get knocked out in the first round, but they're the better of these two teams. And I'm a Carolina guy, and they beat Michigan, but we'll see what happens with these teams. It's just a bad year for college basketball in the state of Michigan.
Yeah,
real bad. Michigan State, I think one they need to do is clean up turnovers. They turn the ball over more than any team they've ever had in the past for Izzo. I mean, I think I saw the one. I don't remember if it was the Purdue game or the game before. I think they had like 14 turnovers in like a quarter or something. I think I saw that. I don't know. It was wild. It was crazy, like crazy numbers. So they need to clean that up. But yeah, I just don't think Michigan's gonna have the drive to do it. And I think if they do lose this game, I don't unless they do win out. I think they would need to win out the tournament to make it, or win out, the Big Ten tournament to get in. But if they don't beat Michigan State, I think their hopes are for the March Madness are done. I don't think they're going to make it in.
Yeah, and that's so disappointing because going into the season after what they did last year, Juwan Howard winning the Big Ten Coach of the Year, them winning the Big Ten, then you come around this season and just pull a dud like this. It's crazy. It was very high expectations this season, and they underwhelmed. They completely underwhelmed.